Hi, this is Russell Stannard and I'm the tutor on the Power Up Flipping Your Classes course, and that course has been shortlisted for the Elton's Innovation Awards 2017, so really pleased about that. I thought it'd be interesting to actually take a quick look at the course and to show you the principles, or talk about the principles that underpin the course. When we went to develop the course, Tom, Kiddle and myself, we sat down, we looked at the research into blended learning and online learning. We talked about our own experiences of running blended learning and online courses, and we put together a list of key principles that would underpin any course that we developed, and we used those to really kind of develop this course. So let's look at the course and let's have a little look at some of the principles that underpin the development of the course. Okay, so we're logged onto the course here, and I think the first thing that a lot of students say to me when they do the course is, Russell, it feels like a website. It doesn't feel like a course produced in Moodle or in Blackboard. And we've tried to do that by using buttons and navigating between different pages using buttons. So you'll see, for example, that there are buttons here at the top of the screen. So the navigation very much feels like a website. You'll notice that there's not really the typical kind of scroll of death in terms of loads and loads of links. In fact, it starts with a really simple video here. You've got links to the 2 webinars, and then we have this kind of grid system that actually takes you to the content. Now, if you went through to any of the content as well, we just click on this link here to come through to the first, or click on the button to come through to the first unit, you'll see again you can move between the units through these buttons here. You can get back home, you can open up your course notes, and if you scroll down to the bottom, you can, once you've worked through the course unit, then you can then just click and just move straight to the next unit. So that navigation is an absolutely key feature. It's simple, it feels like a website, it's very intuitive, and it really does help the students to get very familiar with the site really quickly. Very much linked to the whole area of navigation is the fact that the content itself has been really carefully selected. There's no dumping of content, which is very common in a lot of blended learning courses, and I've certainly done it myself in the past. That's it, to share lots of links and additional content with your students and in fact overwhelm them. So we've been very careful about the content that we've selected to make sure that we don't overwhelm the students. So everything within the course itself is absolutely essential to the course. There's no kind of peripheral material. It really is a case of working through the material and making sure that you complete everything, because everything is related. So that's a key feature, and I'm, for example, at the moment working through a course for another organisation, giving them some kind of consultancy work, and I've noticed that their course, the first thing you notice is there are hundreds of links on the page, loads and loads of content, loads of things to open up and look at, and it immediately overwhelms you. So it's something we really wanted to try to avoid. One of the features that we often talk about when we talk about web design, course design, etc., is consistency. That is that the user gets very familiar with the site very quickly because the layout is very consistent, and that is a feature that we really wanted to develop within this course. So if you look, for example, at the unit that we're on now, we have an introduction video, a quick explanation of what you're going to learn, then the learning content, and that's followed by a little article to read, and we limit these articles so it's just 1 or 2 articles. Then there's a section called food for thought, and there's the unit task. Now if we jumped through to the next unit, you would see that the layout is exactly the same headings, so that the students very, very quickly become familiar with the content, know where the content is, and know how the content is organized. That consistency is very important, not only in course design but in web design generally. One of the features that I was particularly interested in was something called teacher presence. If you do an online course, and particularly if that online course has material, a lot of material from third parties like YouTube videos and PDF files, but from somebody else, then often you can be doing a course where you don't actually know who the teacher is. The course is almost an anonymous course with just loads of third-party content, and we really wanted to avoid this. We wanted to make sure there was a teacher presence, and we've done this in lots of different ways, but just to give you a couple of examples, every unit starts with a video. You can click on, of course, watch it
Okay,
full
so
screen.
this unit's gonna
And in fact, we made these videos quite a lot of fun by filming them in different locations as I was traveling around giving presentations. So one of the things is every unit is introduced by me. The actual learning content as well, the videos to, in this unit, for example, we're looking at Edmodel. All of those videos are again produced by myself. And of course, you can watch every single video full screen as well. So we did a lot of different things. We also did this with the actual final tasks. We made little videos where we explained at the end of each unit there's a task for the students to do, and again there's an explanation from me about what to do and a little bit of guidance. It's really important to make sure that there's a teacher presence on the course, otherwise you can be working through a course and really the course is kind of being run anonymously and it's unclear exactly who the teacher is and who's organising the learning content on this course. Obviously that doesn't happen in face-to-face courses, but it can happen very easily on an online course. Each unit finishes with a unit task, and those unit tasks are very practical and they all link together to build towards a final assignment. So as long as you do the unit task, the final assignment at the end is actually fairly easy, as it's almost a kind of repetition of the mini tasks, but in the final task the students, or the final assignment, the students are expected to produce their own content. So we were really careful to make sure that there was a tight alignment between the learning content and the final task, but more importantly, and something that Tom emphasized, was the importance of making sure that there was kind of a self-check questionnaire. So after each unit the students complete a questionnaire, and that gives us a clear indication of whether the student is happy or not with the learning content. And the point of view from the tutor's position is that of course that's really helpful. I can see if there's any need for me to intervene and give additional support if, for example, a student points out that they haven't achieved one of the learning outcomes. So really good to make sure the tasks are tightly linked to the learning content of the unit and to the final assignment as well, but more importantly to have this self-check questionnaire at the end of each unit, just to make sure that we know that the students have achieved the learning objectives of that particular unit. These days we talk about social constructivism a lot. We talk about the opportunities to get students to work together, to construct knowledge, to work on tasks, etc. And I really do believe that that's got a lot of value as an idea. However, I think also you can overplay it. So one of the things that we were very careful was to make sure that we didn't choose or didn't include too many forums, wikis, chats, etc. Because the problem is that on a course of this size, if you have lots of forums, if you have lots of chats and lots of wikis, it actually means that the amount of content on the course, of course, increments as people begin to populate the different forums, etc. Then the next student along has to read the contributions from previous students, and this can actually make a course a lot bigger than it originally was. This is certainly a problem at the moment on many MOOC courses. So for that reason we were very selective about the number of discussion forums and collaborative activities that took place. We used them, we realized they're very important, but we were very selective about their use. Now, very much linked to that previous point as well is the importance of having a good messaging system that allows students or participants to communicate with me and ask me questions or raise any issues privately rather than through a forum, because not all students in all situations want to share their concerns with the rest of the group. So we really make a strong point of beginning the course by messaging each individual student and asking them to message me back, so it's clear that we have an individual line of communication. Now, one of the interesting things that we've added to the course is that, of course, when people message you, they often bring up interesting points that you would like to share with the rest of the group. So we have a kind of ongoing blog commentary where I simply raise the issues that have been raised by other students on the course, but of course I don't name them. So it's like a kind of ongoing commentary of what's happening and any issues that have been raised, so that I'm able to share any specific concerns publicly with the whole group, but of course I don't name the student. And often what we do with that blog, and I'll just quickly open it up to show you, is that if, for example, we've noticed that there's a certain problem, or someone wants to know something additional about a particular technology, etc., then we quickly make a video that hopefully gives the solution or the answer to that particular question. The final point, and perhaps in some ways the most important, has been the feedback we've had from the participants on the course about the way we give feedback on the final assignment. We don't give written feedback. We actually use the technology that I'm using now, i.e. screen capture, and we simply open the participants or the students' work onto the screen and record ourselves working through their flipped classroom and commenting on it, and then we send that as a video. So in fact, if you participate on one of our courses, the feedback that you will get at the end of the course is a video where I work through all of the learning content that you have produced, and this has proved to be really, really popular, and perhaps one of the features that has been most positively received by the students. Okay, so that gives you a little bit of an idea about some of the principles that underpin the course. It's been very well received. We've had fantastic feedback from students, and obviously we're really, really pleased to have been shortlisted for the Eltons Awards for 2017. And please look out if you're interested in actually doing the course. Thank you very much.